What's up, guys? We decided to do this video. The purpose of this video is to answer all the questions that you had about how Kevin and I caught almost 30 pounds of bass on the Winter Haven chain. It's not very often that happens, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to tell you all the things that all the bass fishermen try to keep secret. We're now going to delve into what we did and tell you exactly what we did to be successful.
Yeah, like you said, we're just gonna try to start a short series of videos, starting with this one here. Just to let you know, we're participating in the 2016 Lakeland Bassmasters Team Trail. It's an awesome trail that they've put together that actually gives you an ultimate opportunity to fish in the Bassmaster Classic. We want to start off just talking a little bit about how we practiced for this event. We started getting out there, I'd say about a month before the tournament, just kind of scouting, seeing what we could find. At that time, we were kind of hoping that the weather was going to warm up, maybe start some spawning activity, get some bigger fish to move up to bed. So we started out looking for areas with the clearest water that we could find, some hard bottom, and we were able to find some areas that were actually pretty loaded with beds. And what was surprising about these areas was that these beds were in very deep water. Normally you see them up shallow, but these were sitting in about 6 feet of water. And there were smaller males on the beds. We were able to catch plenty of them, but they just weren't the right kind. So we started looking for other patterns, tried to get on a flipping bite in some reeds and some scattered lily pads. That just didn't pan out. Didn't even get a bite doing that. So fast forward to about 2 weeks later. It's now about 2 weeks before the event. It's pretty cold and windy. The forecast doesn't really hint to any warmer weather coming in the near future. So we completely shifted our focus. We got away from the banks, started looking for pre-spawn areas, and idling around using the Humminbird Helix 9. We were actually able to find a pretty awesome pre-spawn transition area that basically consisted of a steep ledge that dropped from about 7 or 8 feet of water down to almost 23 feet in some spots, and had some scattered grass around the edges of this ledge. Well, we started fishing it, and within about 30 minutes, and from the first cast, we had a bite. And within about 30 minutes, we had 5 fish close to 25 pounds. And decided to just leave it be. Went and looked for other potential bedding areas. Saw some bigger females cruising some of these, but still nothing that seemed like it would hold up, unless maybe the weather greatly improved. Fast forward again, a week before the tournament, Joe goes out solo, and within a matter of minutes lands a 6-pounder off of our ledge. And from that point on, we kind of just prayed, kind of opposite of what we normally pray for here in Florida, which is warming weather, a warming trend. Let's get these females up to where we can see them and pluck them off the beds. But here we are, texting each other all week. Man, I hope it stays cold. I hope it stays cold. Sure enough, we had some freezing temperature nights leading up to the tournament. I believe tournament morning when we launched, it was not even 50 degrees, and the water temperatures were actually lower than they were in practice. They dipped below the 60-degree mark.
And we decided we got to come up with some kind of plan. Here's why. My boat's slow. These dudes are riding in bass boats that are going like 75 miles an hour, and my boat's doing like 40 miles an hour because my motor's running like garbage. So, and we're boat number 19. Not to mention all those guys that were creeping off to the canals and not going when the boats were called. What's up with that, dudes? So anyway, back to the plan. So the plan was we're gonna go to the ledge first. Hopefully we don't get beat there. Maybe somebody's gonna beat us there. We don't know. That's plan A. We got these fish. They're stacked up. They're hungry. They're big. They're gonna win the tournament if we can get there and catch them. We already know it. If you look through Winter Haven chain results, it's not that often that guys are catching 25 pounds. A 20-pound bag, under 25-pound bag, almost always wins the Winter Haven chain when it's above 20. So we feel like we got the winning fish ready to eat. Plan B, Plan C, and Plan D. We got lots of fish, lots of bucks that are on beds. We got like 3 or 4 different spots where we know these fish are on beds. We've seen a few females cruising around these areas. So if we get beat to our spot, or if we go to our spot and we got no action there, we're gonna run to these other spots on the chain. We got them all marked on GPS. We're gonna go straight to the beds and see what's on the beds. We know that there are bucks on the beds. We can probably catch a limit of bucks, maybe luck up and come across a couple females, but we know that's probably not going to be the winning pattern. Everybody wants to hear, how did we catch them? What did we catch them on? What happened? We're going to tell you everything right here, okay? But first, I'm going to talk about the morning of the tournament. It's like 4 in the morning. Me and Kevin get up super early. We're both pumped up. We got these fish that's been waiting on us for a week, and we just know we're gonna do really good. We're listening to rap music on the way there. I mean, Mace. Come on, if you're not listening to Mace on the way to the boat ramp, if you don't know what Mace is, you better look that up on YouTube. Puff Daddy and the Family too. And anyway, so we get to the ramp. Get the boat in the water, everything's checked in, everything's good. Everybody takes off way too early. They're just taking off. Boat numbers ain't your boat number. They're all taking off. Anyway,
You know, we're idling up to the spot, looking at the helix, and all you see is fish activity everywhere. Get the rods out, and you know, after seeing them feeding like that, I kind of get an idea in my mind. You know, let's try to see if we can get something on a moving bait. You know, so I pull out a chatterbait, a white chatterbait with a chartreuse zoom super fluke. It looks big and ugly, and I've never thrown one with this much of a contrast in color, but you know, I just wanted a big profile, and I wanted it to be something they could see, because in this area the water was pretty stained. We only had about a foot of visibility, and we were fishing down, like I said in an earlier segment, 8 to 20 plus feet deep. So I wanted something big, bulky, and visible. Made one cast out there to the ledge, and I'm looking down at the Humminbird because I'm still just in awe that we're seeing all this fish activity. And as my chatterbait is sinking, I don't even get to crank the handle not once, and boom, you know, I get a vicious hit on the end of the line. And as soon as I start cranking down, I'm hollering to Joe, get the net, I got a good fish on the line. Jumps up, could tell it was a good one, bring it in the boat, it's about a 7-pounder. Joe's throwing a worm, I keep on trying.
and that's how you start a fishing tournament, with a 7-pounder.
Oh man, I mean, I kept on with the chatterbait, tried it for about 10 more minutes, didn't get any bites. By this point, Joe's throwing his worm out there still and misses a fish. I decided to put down the chatterbait, pick up a black and blue tight lines Senko, and throw that out there on an 1/8 ounce weight. Miss a fish. We both missed one, kind of back to back. Throw out again, set up, bring the fish to the boat. It's another nice one, about 6.5 pounds. And it's still only about 7:15 in the morning.
I set up on the fish, and right away, it didn't really feel like that big of a fish. We've been fishing this spot. It's deep water. I'm fishing a worm. I'm fishing a Zoom trick worm and June bug. It's one of my favorite go-to baits. I mean, I think I got an 1/8 ounce or a 3/16 ounce weight on it. And I'm fishing it super old man, slow speed, almost dead sticking this trick worm. Barely dragging it down this ledge. And all of a sudden, the bait swims off. I set the hook. It feels like maybe a 3-pounder, a small fish, compared to what we've been catching at this spot. So I tell Kevin, don't worry about the net. It doesn't feel that big. I'm going to get this one up. Well, he comes up quick and does a roll. When the fish comes to the top and rolls, Kevin sees the roll and says, I think it's a decent one. I'm going to go ahead and grab the net. Well, by this time, she goes digging. And on the dig, she pulls drag down to the bottom one time. I'll get her back about halfway. She pulls back down under the boat, and then she comes up and goes airborne. And when she goes airborne, she's only about 15 or 20 feet from the boat, and both of us look at each other, and it's the biggest fish I've caught. I've caught a lot of 7-pounders, right at 8 pounds, but I've never caught anything close to 10 pounds. And when it come out of the water, I'm thinking it's a 10-pounder all day. It's got a huge mouth, a big body. This is a really big fish. But we don't say anything. He looks at me, I look at him, and I'm like, extend the net further. We're gonna dip her way out there. So we put her in the live well, and we're looking at each other. It's like 7:20 in the morning, and we got one double-digit fish, possibly a double-digit fish, and 13 to 15 pounds on the other one. We've already got 20 to 25 pounds, and it's not even 7:30 in the morning.
On 3 fish.
On 3 fish. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
I mean, it was just crazy. It was pandemonium. Catch a few more here and there. Switching baits. I think Joe continued throwing the June bug trick worm. I'm mainly throwing that black and blue tight line Cinco. Also picked up a Carolina rigged culprit 10-inch worm and June bug. Picked one up on that. I think they were all in the 3.5 to 3 3/4 range. So we added those to our limit, and was hoping for a good upgrade. We knew if we could replace one of those 3.5s with a 4 or 5 that we'd break the 30-pound mark, because we knew we were somewhere close. But we kind of thought on the low end, maybe we're 27, on the high end, maybe we're 31. But we knew for a fact if we could pick up a 4 or 5, that we'd break that 30-pound mark. But it just didn't happen. It's 7:30 and we got close to 30 pounds of fish in the live well, and we kind of beat the spot to death, tried every different angle, turned the boat, tried to give them different looks, different baits, from a wacky rigged worm to a crankbait to even a funny looking jerkbait / prop bait that Joe had dug up from his dad's old tackle box from the 1970s or 80s, just to exhaust every possible option on this spot and make sure that we had cleaned house. We're just gonna vacate and go back to hang out near the ramp, because like Joe said earlier, we were having some outboard issues and we didn't want to break down or get stuck, or you never know what could happen. Batteries die and the live well pump goes out. Could be anything. So we just wanted to play it safe from there. Went back to the general weigh-in area, just kind of fished around, just doing whatever, throwing chatterbaits in scattered grass, flipping grass. Picked up a few here and there, but unfortunately no upgrades. But hey, you could say some keys to how we caught these fish, because it's slow. I mean, we were working them slow. Aside from that chatterbait bite, which I think was just an outlier, because it just happened to be a fish that was active enough to hit that thing, and I tried working it for a long time after that and couldn't get another bite. So I think that bite aside, the main key was just working these baits painfully slow, because another important part of it was trying to keep the bait in the strike zone. We didn't want to bring the baits up this ledge. We didn't want to fish them down the ledge. Rather, we wanted to kind of cast along the drop and work it on the side of the ledge. So
what I really wanted to do with this was tell you how we did, what we did, and give you as much secrets as we could about how we caught these fish without telling you on a map, this is where I caught them. You know, come on, man, go find them yourself. But we thank you for watching the video. We're going to try to continue doing this video, good or bad, throughout the Lakeland Bassmasters team trail. So